So the last time Wales and Zimbabwe met was in Port Elizabeth in the second tournament of the season, when Wales won by a convincing margin of 35 points. Wales lead by 6-1 in the series. So let's have a look at the teams. Wales played finalists in Glasgow last weekend, led by Cardiff's Rhys Shellard, supported by forwards Richard Smith and Craig Price, both in their first season on the international circuit. Centre Adam Thomas was injured on the opening day in Glasgow, but Rhys Jones, top try scorer Ivan Evans and Rugby World Cup Sevens gold medalist Lee Williams are seasoned campaigners. Zimbabwe, on their first ever European Sevens tour, welcome back Jacques Leitao. Former Hartbury College student Daniel Hondo led the team in Glasgow last weekend in his absence. Underdogs they may be, but in Nechironga, Sibanda, Nemadire, Zimbabwe have pace to match the Welsh speedsters stride for stride. So, Wales against Zimbabwe. Mike Friday, how do you see this one going?
Well, I think it's Wales to lose, if we're honest. Wales, I thought, impressive last week. Just run out a little bit of steam, but they're a good team here. It's interesting he's left the impressive Tom Grabban on the bench and the experienced Alex Walker, but you know, he's still got the likes of Rhys Jones, Lee Williams, Ivan Evans out there, along with Rhys Shellard, and you know, to give a little bit of composure, a bit of structure. I'm impressed with the way Paul John develops this squad. You know, he's had a couple of his other key players taken away from him for this pairing, but nonetheless he gets on and he finds the next one. Zimbabwe are maverick, aren't they, in the way they approach their sevens, but I think Wales will have too much structure.
Wales looking for a solid start here. On the ball there in centre field is Rhys Jones, has been out in the spate of injuries but now back in the fold. Akihisa Aso from Japan takes charge of this one, a very competent referee. Many aspiring international referees get their start on the sevens circuit. So the opening kick claimed by Zimbabwe. They look to move it wide quickly through Tengai Nemadire. Very work here by the captain, Daniel Hondo. He's retained the captain's armband from Glasgow last week. Wales very solid in defence, I've noticed, in recent tournaments, Mike.
Yeah, good. They've got good structure. They operate well as a six, and they defend what's happening, not what they think's going to happen. So they do their job and they rely on their teammate to do theirs, and that's the most important aspect of a sevens defensive set. You're tight as a six, but you defend what's happening, not what you think's going to happen. You don't think you trust your inside defence to make their tackles. You know, example here though, that they got the line break, but look how they're back to the flood and the cover. Great work once the line break occurs, but they don't actually react on the line break until it actually happens.
Yeah, that was the newcomer Craig Price, certainly grown in stature over the last few tournaments. This is Jacques Leitao, who missed Glasgow's tournament. His wife gave birth to a baby daughter. Congratulations to them. Good to see Jacques back, though he's such a steadying influence on this Zimbabwean side. First chance then for Ivan Evans to show his pace. He's got strength as well in abundance, as Evans, the top Wales try scorer ever on the sevens scene. No distinct advantage there for Wales, so referee Aso calls him back for the scrum.
Just early signs there about the way that Wales are going to play. They're going to try and move the ball quickly to the space. They're going to attack very directly, try and win that breakdown quickly and then move the ball elsewhere, just to try and disorientate and stretch this Zimbabwean defence, which probably won't be as disciplined as we would expect probably some of the more developed Rugby 7 nations to be.
Lee Williams brings it away quickly. The offload, good work here by Rhys Jones deep into the Zimbabwean 22 as Wales in the hunt then for the opening score. Richard Smith, good strength has Richard Smith, the Cardiff centre three-quarter, plays for the Cardiff club, not the Cardiff Blues region, but Zimbabwe, and scrambled their defence well. Here they may well have won the turnover. He certainly won the penalty, but good work, good defensive work there by Zimbabwe.
Yeah, again, as we see the tackle areas, you've got to be very accurate here. The referees are very clear that you have to release before you re-engage on the ball. If there's half a doubt, then they will favour the attacking team.
Yeah, they've had a mandate to be very strict in the tackle area. Referee Aso very strict on where he wants the penalty taken as well. So Jones then considers the option of Evans on the narrow side. Lee Williams into the open side. Craig Price, well, there were two men on the outside, takes it into contact once again, and sucking in 2 or 3 Zimbabwean defenders. Smith to Shellad, the captain, lean and fit. Rhys Shellad. Evans takes the hit from Fortune Chipendo. Ball not sticking. There's a breeze facing Wales in this first half. Smith gets away. Richard Smith and for the try line. Could it be the opening score under the post? Individual effort there from Richard Smith, showing good strength, good pace as well. And finally then Wales are onto the score sheet. They lead Zimbabwe by 5-0.
Yeah, again, you know, he's a big lad, Smith, isn't he? He's a big, strong runner. And it's just a missed tackle going slightly high on him. And if you go high on this big guy, he's away. He's fast, he's powerful. And that's probably, again, the difference between the two teams. Wales are making their tackles stick. Zimbabwe are just falling off the odd one or two, giving Wales the line break and the opportunity for the opening score. Richard
Smith, ever present this season, his 9th consecutive tournament, his first season ever, and showed up well for Paul John's side. Conversion is good, and Wales lead Zimbabwe by 7 points to 0 with some 2 minutes and 30 seconds or so remaining of the first half. So let's see how Wales go for the restart this time. Rhys Jones looking to put that one right on the 10-metre line, giving his forwards a chance to get there. But again, as we saw in Glasgow and a few times this season, particularly so in Hong Kong, Wales are having difficulty claiming the restart, which is such an important element of
it is, and there's plenty of height on the kick there. It's more a timing issue in terms of when you time your jump and you look for the restart rather than just jumping at any point in time.
Oh, good effort there from Gerald Sibanda. The referee also claims that he was impeded.
Yeah, I'd probably have to agree that it probably was a yellow. I think Rhys Jones knew exactly what he was doing, getting in the way of the kick chase, and the chanced his arm and got found out.
2 minutes in the sin bin, and I suppose in the old golden days of rugby, he would have been sent to the tower. But
he's in the sin bin. We saw his dad in there a few times, didn't we, when he was playing for Gloucester?
Certainly did. Kingsley Jones, now national coach of Russia, former director of coaching at Sale, of course. Rhys plays his rugby down for the Scarlets of Llanelli. So penalty, not often do you see a penalty, a three-pointer taken, but I mean Zimbabwe is still in the game.
Yeah, odd really, because he had a penalty where it was, but you see there, you know, quite clearly he checks into it. He doesn't. You can hold your ground and stay where you are, but you can't move into the line of the attacking player who's chasing his kick, which is exactly what they did here. Look at that, knew exactly what he was doing. About as subtle as his dad as well, I think.
Subtle as a sledgehammer. So 7-3, just over a minute left in this first half. Zimbabwe kick long through Tengai Nemadire. Wales down to 6. Strange decision that to take that penalty so early in the game.
It is
an advantage of 7-6
because they were given the penalty where the ball bounced, which was kind of 6 yards out from the try line, and they're down to 6 men. So again, just a little bit of clear thinking required by the captain at crucial times.
So Jacques Leitao, just under a minute left. His team trail by 7-3. The coach on the left was Gilbert Nyamutsamba, and with him was Bruce Hobson, Mr. Rugby in Zimbabwe for many a year. Former president. Chironga. Good strength. Being shown there by Sibanda. Nemadire. Snapped up by Adam Thomas to Craig Price. He showed good pace in Glasgow last weekend. Very impressed by his pace, chasing down an Australian attacker, I seem to recall. Evans spreads it out to Richard Smith. It's going to be a second score for Wales. Over in the corner goes Adam Thomas, obviously shaking off that injury on the first day in Glasgow, just as Rhys Jones came back onto the field.
Again, though, you just probably saw the difference in the experience of the two countries. They got Wales down to 6, but they get hold of the ball and then they move the ball to the space. They affect the line break, but they don't panic if they're not going to get there. They flood well, they support, they win the breakdown quickly and cleanly, and then they moved the ball away to a different area of the pitch. Again, great play by Wales, great structured 7, working the breakdown, being disciplined on the ball to get the second try in the corner.
So 2 tries. Wales lead Zimbabwe on the scoreboard by 12-3. So this is an aspect I find fascinating, the headless. Let's listen in.
Wait, he's got to try him with 1 man to less. Well, you got 1 man less, boys.
Tighter.
Come, boys, tighter. Come, tight, boys.
Boys not giving anything back, and this guy, you're not going to hold anything back. We've still got to play a few more widths with this team. We've still got to play a few more widths. They're already blowing. 1 man down. Let's use that to our advantage. Play a few more widths. Keep that ball alive. They're not sending enough numbers. We're also not going to fight back, right?
They get outside us again. We need to get off our line and be more aggressive. We're too nice, boys. Too nice. Let's get forward, forward, forward in our systems. Okay? Don't wait for nothing to happen, boys. Make it happen. It's an important start to the second half. We need the ball. We need the ball. Stay a kick. We get secure. We get it done, and we play from there. Okay? We need to pick it up now. We need to pick it up.
Was we stayed square defensively on that last set there on our 22. Stayed square, they tried to get the pass in, we flooded them, turnover, that's what happens, that's what comes from it. Discipline to stay square. Let them push forward there. Okay, come on. Boys, enthusiasm.
It's a little complacency, Paul John says, setting in, but it's difficult. The opening game of the day and more than a half-empty stadium, it's difficult, I suppose, to motivate yourself.
Well, the first game, you've got to blow the cobwebs out the lungs as well. So, you know, you've got to get used to the oxygen deprivation. The boys would have had a blowout probably an hour ago, but nonetheless, it still takes the edge off the first 7 minutes of the first game, but doesn't take it away from you. And Paul John's right, saying we must get possession, look after the ball. When we keep the ball, then we'll be able to just turn the screw.
Some confusion here, Mike. It appears that the referee awarded a penalty try, so there's a conversion in front of the post. But
well, yeah, we've just seen though that, as you say, the scoreboard's been corrected. But again, you know, big brave call by the referee because the flood runners were coming back. Was it a guaranteed try? The referee thinks so. He awards the penalty try.
I wonder whether the Welsh boys have a quick look up at the scoreboard and they'll find that it's 12-7. In fact, it's a little too close for comfort, just as it was in the first opening match between Fiji and Spain. So, Jones and Wales have a man down injured inside their own 22. Looks as if it's playmaker Lee Williams, and that'll certainly be a blow for Paul John. Can they afford to lose the services of Lee Williams?
He did, and it came off that kickoff that they didn't need to play, but they played and they passed it back to Lee Williams, and they were all in front of him. So he's taken a big hit when they could have been having a free kick on the halfway line.
Yeah, still down. Price takes it into contact.
Ball's out.
And Williams is in some difficulty. So the kick downfield from Shellad, that's meant for Adam Thomas to give chase. Perhaps he hasn't quite shaken off that injury of last week yet.
Yeah,
No kick.
he looked like he needed to clear his lungs there, didn't he? He was just gasping for step and air there. But it's worrying times this for Wales if Lee Williams is down and he needs to come off.
Well, the referee has stopped the game.
Okay.
Here's Lee Williams, still down just inside his own 22 there.
Been crucial to them, hasn't he? You know, since he's returned to this 7-set. You know, he's such a lively player, effervescent player, but he also he's a little computer. He moves the ball around, but he also keeps defences guessing because he recognises when the space is there, and he manages the tempo of the game so well for Wales.
You'll be fine. Yeah, good.
Looks as if he might want to shake that injury off, but I have my doubts. So that's a blow for Wales. Certainly we'll keep an eye out for Lee Williams, see whether he does stay on or come back on for the second game. In the meantime, it's Alex Walker, another member of the Cardiff Rugby Club, who's on for Wales. Taken by big Fortune Chipendo, who stands almost 2 meters tall. Claimed the ball in the line out wide. That's Gardner Nechironga. Plays his rugby in Germany for the Neumheim club, the man from Bulawayo. So Zimbabwe need a score to get back on terms It's a big hit coming in, but it was a well taken though penalty
Number 9,
for Wales.
I think, that was quite harsh, that penalty there. And is it interesting to see that the defensive set by Wales there was exceptional. They stayed square as a six, they put the pressure on, they got the big hit. Unfortunate that the penalty went against them.
So 5 minutes remaining of this match. Walker, the replacement, looks for support. Price offered himself on the near side here, right under us here in the grandstand, but it's been stolen by Zimbabwe. That tackle by Craig Price had to be made on Tengai Nemadire. Sometimes you have to retreat in order to go forward one-on-one. That's a good decision by the captain, Daniel Hondo, giving chase here is Ivan Evans of Nichironga. Didn't back himself, but the try will be awarded. Yes, the referee's arm is in the air.
Here's again clever play by the Zimbabweans, realising that Reece Jones has had to come into the line and be 7 up. And then we saw the kick go in behind, the kick to score, the kick chase, and they're in behind there, Ifan Evans. But again, Ifan Evans tracks back, but look at the support on the inside from the Zimbabwe team. That's the most important aspect of Sevens as well. When you get a line breaks, how quickly can your support get there?
So this conversion to give Zimbabwe the lead. Daniel Hondo, the captain. So let's have a look. Can Zimbabwe sneak an advantage? You know, it's missed. So it's 12 all midway through the second half.
Again, clever play there, just puts the kick in, he takes himself out of the game, but he takes Ifan Evans out of the game with great awareness that his support is closer than Wales there. Again, we just saw just early signs how important conversions will be in this tournament. You need to nail your 2 points.
Particularly so on the first day, of course, where it's all about scoring points and finishing on top of the pool. So that determines where you'll play on the second day, which is knockout day, of course. Taken in there by Reece Jones. And Zimbabwe battling away for every scrap of possession. Ivan Evans, not the best of passes, very poor pass in fact, and it's advantage Zimbabwe. Wales not the well-oiled machine that Paul John would have hoped for on this first day here.
Yeah, I mean, little mistakes, you know, that Paul John would expect his boys not to make. You know, it's interesting, we see Patchell, we're not sure what the issue is, but this game will be made for Reece Patchell. He's the sort of guy, young man I know, but he's the glue in this team in the early part of the series. He just shifted the ball around. He's there with a bib on. We're not sure if he's fit or not, but he would be an ideal man if he's at Paul John's disposal to bring on here.
Pause, engage. Sit.
So Ivan Evans is off.
Okay, thank you.
Crouch.
12 all. Just over 2 minutes.
Okay, crouch. Touch.
Zimbabwe's best result this season was winning the Shield, the lower tier trophy in Port Elizabeth. Looking for a confident start here on the opening day of the Marriott's London Sevens. Looking to bounce back as well from the disappointment of Hong Kong, where they failed to progress as a core nation on the 7th circuit next season.
Here. Let's go.
It's a real complex area, this tackle area, isn't it? You know, very hard for the players in the heat of the battle to realise, are they part of the tackle? Have I released? Can I clamp on? Is he isolated? Is he holding on? It's clear thinking when you're tired in the contact area is going to be crucial come the big games and the big calls.
Mistake there by Tengai Nemadire, snapped up quickly by Tom Grabham, the Wales replacement. Richard Smith, try scorer in the first half for Wales, looking to move it quickly now then through captain Reece Shellad. Well taken by Alex Walker, had to reach for that one. Reece Jones, the first touch then for Dan Fish, the kick and the chase. He's got pace as Dan Fish. Fish will get there, surely. Controls the ball over the try line, good effort.
It's a quality try by Wales there again. You just saw them stretch the Zimbabwean defence. The crucial part was the breakdown on the far side of the pitch where he presented long. You know, you'll see here, there's the little mistake here, but watch the way that Wales, they moved the ball long. The presentation to then create the space back to Fish, to give them the recognition, the understanding they're playing 7 up now, the space is in behind, quality execution of kick, realising he's just short, I'll slide in with the ball over the line. Good play all round by this Wales team.
One more game.
Yeah, things often can and do go wrong with the kick and the chase, and players sometimes they drop the ball over the try line. So Wales are back on track. The try from Dan Fish and the conversion from Rhys Jones, and Wales lead by 19-12.
Just saw an example there when in terms of presenting long, which then takes away these issues around the contact area, and then winning it quickly. We'll see the better teams probably look to present long as this tournament develops.
We see some players in that area clapping their hands just to make sure that the referee knows that he's let go, and then he clapped his hands so he gets back in then and contests the breakdown area. So Zimbabwe, having drawn level, trail by a converted try. Out it goes from Dan Fish as referee Asso blows the whistle then. So Wales by the skin of their teeth. They've sneaked that one. And the final scoreline, which reads Wales 19, Zimbabwe 12.